Hello, beautiful people. Welcome. My name is Alden Reed, and you are watching Arcane Tablets. Today, we are going to continue exploring the 12 human color tribes. Specifically, we're going to look at the physical color characteristics or phenotypes of each color tribe. So, as I've said before, while there's one singular human species, humanity is further subdivided into 12 groups, which I call color tribes. And each color tribe has its own unique physical color characteristics or phenotypes, which is thus linked to a specific kind of metaphysical color energy. So before we dive in further, let's just look at this map that I've created. And this map, it's very general, but it's going to give us a basic idea of where in the world we might expect to find people from certain color tribes. And so as you can see, I've highlighted the core regions or areas. These are sort of the homelands of each color tribe. And even up until today, you're going to find that the majority of people from these areas are from these particular color tribes. And there'll definitely be a lot of people who are monocolor, who are very strongly representing the phenotypes and the color energy of the local color tribe. But even among some of the other people who might be a little bit color blended, it's likely that their primary color is still going to be from the local dominant color tribe. And of course, there's still a great deal of diversity in all of these regions. There's usually a good deal of people from neighboring color tribes as well. Human beings are constantly moving and migrating around the world, so it's very important to keep that in mind. Even so, you'll find that people from other color tribes that migrate into these core regions often tend to then absorb some of that metaphysical color energy which is associated with the local color tribe. Now, as you can imagine, the blank areas are parts of the world where people tend to be a lot more color blended. So they're regions that don't really belong to any one particular color tribe per se, but you can more or less imagine some of the different color blended people that you would find in these areas. For example, in Central Asia there, you'll find a good deal of people that are mixed with blue and bronze and yellow, and maybe even a little bit of orange as well. To help us better grasp what color tribes are about, we need to first briefly touch upon universal energy signatures. So reality is structured based on 15 different raw primal forces, which I call universal energy signatures, and each energy signature represents a unique modality of being and imbues many different categories within reality, especially core metaphysical systems. Even more beautifully, individual attributes or units from core metaphysical systems like chakras, astrology, archetypes, and color tribes have natural corresponding relationships with the attributes from other systems that are imbued by the same universal energy signature. Each energy signature is also associated with a gender, quality, and element, which are known as aspects in astrology. Thus, although color tribes are superficially about physical appearances, each color tribe also has its own unique kind of color energy. Much like astrological energy, color energy is purely metaphysical and exists exclusively in the realm of consciousness. In other words, although physical color characteristics or phenotypes are indeed genetic or biological, color energy is not. In essence, human beings incarnate into physical vessels with specific physical color characteristics, and this symbolizes the type of color energy each of us is channeling. This operates in a very similar way to how astrology works, where our time and place of birth relative to the physical placement of planetary bodies serves to symbolize the details of our personal astrological chart. It is important to note that although shared attributes are very similar, each metaphysical system operates in different ways. In very basic terms, the chakra system primarily governs our spiritual growth and development. Our astrological chart primarily influences our personal traits and core sense of being, and archetypes primarily influence our profession or what we have come here to do in this lifetime. Color energy, however, primarily influences the attitudes, perspectives, and values we have towards social organization. As a result, people from different color tribes tend to create unique ethnic groups, nationalities, and cultures. While we are not going to further discuss color energy in this video, Studying this chart will help you quickly get a sense of what each color tribe's metaphysical color energy is all about. Interestingly, as we shall see, many of these corresponding metaphysical attributes also imbue each color tribe's physical color characteristics as well. So before we look at each color tribe individually, it's important to understand that some color tribes do have things in common with other color tribes. And there's two very important dichotomies here. The first is between masculine and feminine tribes. And the masculine tribes are pink, copper, bronze, gold, cyan, and indigo, while the feminine tribes are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet. And masculine tribes are associated with odd numbers and tertiary or intermediate colors, whereas feminine tribes are associated with even numbers and the primary and secondary colors of the color wheel. So masculine tribes tend to have sharper, more angular physical features, whereas feminine tribes tend to have softer, more rounded physical features. Masculine tribes are more likely to have curly or coiled hair, whereas feminine tribes are more likely to have straight or wavy hair. Lastly, masculine tribes tend to have bodies with somewhat more naturally pronounced muscularity, while feminine tribes have bodies with somewhat less pronounced natural muscularity. It tends to be a little bit more muted or hidden among some of the more rounded features. Now, of course, as you might imagine, these are qualities that biological men and biological women typically have as well. So certainly, if you're a biological man, you're more likely to have these masculine qualities, and if you're a biological woman, you're more likely to have these feminine qualities. However, if you are from a masculine color tribe, it is likely that you're going to have some slightly more typically masculine features, and if you're from a feminine tribe, it is likely you're going to have some more typically feminine features. So what we really tend to notice is that women from masculine color tribes do tend to have a little bit more typically biological masculine physical features, whereas men from feminine tribes do tend to have noticeably a little bit more typically biologically feminine features. So the second dichotomy to understand is between tropical and temperate tribes. And as we might imagine, this has to do with geography. So tropical tribes are tribes whose homeland is generally located in between the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, whereas temperate tribes have homelands that are generally to the north of these regions. So the pink, red, copper, orange, bronze, and indigo are tropical tribes, whereas the yellow, gold, green, cyan, blue, and violet are temperate tribes. So people from tropical tribes generally have more melanin-rich skin, whereas people from temperate tribes generally have less melanin in their skin. And everybody understands why this is. People from tropical tribes tend to be outside more in the daytime, and there's more sunlight, and that sunlight is more intense, so they need more protection from that. Whereas people from temperate tribes often spend a lot more time inside, and then when they're outside, it's important for them to have less melanin in their skin so they can absorb more vitamin D. And the second difference is that people from tropical color tribes often have larger facial features. They frequently have larger nasal bridges and noses and larger lips, whereas people from temperate tribes often have smaller facial features. And there's also some very obvious and advantageous biological reasons for why this is as well. Having a larger nose helps cool the air that's coming into your body, as well as helps filter lots of air particles, and there tends to be a lot more dust and things in the air in tropical environments. At the same time, having bigger lips helps you perspire more, and generally, all of these features help people from tropical tribes regulate their body heat. It helps keep them cooler in the hotter environments, and it's exactly inverted with temperate tribes. Having smaller nasal bridges and noses and smaller lips helps retain more moisture and helps keep their bodies warmer in the winter weather. Now, another thing that's important just to keep in mind is that all of these things exist on somewhat of a north-south axis, so generally speaking, even within individual color tribes, there will be a lot of variation. So the more north you go, the less melanin there's going to be, and the smaller the facial features are generally going to be. And obviously the exact opposite when we're going more southerly. Okay, so this next part is very key for helping you understand color tribes. So there's actually two different kinds of melanin which influence human colorization: eumelanin and pheomelanin. Eumelanin is a darker pigment that comes in shades of brown and black, whereas pheomelanin is a lighter pigment that comes in shades of red and yellow. And when people are talking about melanin, they are almost exclusively talking about eumelanin and ignoring the existence of pheomelanin entirely. So eumelanin is obviously the thing that determines how light or dark our skin is. It determines our skin tone. So people from tropical tribes have more eumelanin in their skin, eyes, and hair, whereas people from temperate tribes have less eumelanin in their skin and sometimes less in their eyes and hair as well. Now, pheomelanin provides actual colorization, right? So tribes which represent a color that includes red or yellow have at least some pheomelanin in their skin, whereas tribes which represent a color that includes blue often have lighter eyes and more pheomelanin in their hair. And this is the key thing to understand, right? There is no blue pheomelanin. And that is why people from the color tribes which represent a color which does include some blue in it generally don't have skin colors that match their color energy. And as a result, we do have to rely on certain other physical markers. And this is one of the reasons that a lot of these tribes have lighter and often blue eyes, and also why many of them have much lighter hair colors. And so by looking at those color features as well as certain other things like face shapes, we can start to see the differences between each color tribe. It is important to note, though, that even though there is no blue pheomelanin, each color tribe does actually have its own unique skin color. And it is possible to tell the difference between color tribes from some of these higher frequency colors, even though there is no blue pheomelanin. So when it comes to identifying people's color tribes, the most important factor is skin color. However, this is somewhat more important when we're dealing with pheomelanin-rich color tribes. When we're dealing with color tribes that are pheomelanin deficient, eye and hair color tends to become a lot more important. And so what we'll see is that the lower frequency color tribes tend to have the same eye and hair colors, but the higher frequency color tribes, the color tribes that don't have any blue pheomelanin, do tend to have more unique eye and hair colors. So hair type, as I've mentioned, is tertiary and really about masculine or feminine energy. And other physical features tend to be somewhat tertiary, but again, more important for distinguishing between people from pheomelanin deficient color tribes. So when we're looking at the European color tribes, especially the green, cyan, blue, and violet, because there is no blue pheomelanin, it is more important to look at things like face shapes. That will really help you distinguish between these groups, although they do each have their own unique skin color as well. Now, people from each color tribe also have a distinct set of microfacial features, which gives each tribe a unique facial geometry. And it's almost impossible to describe in words what these microfacial features are. However, over time, as you become more attuned to people from each color tribe, you'll be able to recognize the subtle differences in skin colors and tones, as well as the subtle microfacial features, which gives each tribe their own unique facial geometry. Pink people have skin colors which range from brown to dark tan with salmon or rosewood hues and undertones. Their eyes typically range from dark brown to brown, and their hair is black or dark brown and usually very curly or slightly coiled. Pink people generally have oval, round, or heart-shaped faces with sharper, more angular facial features that range in size from medium to large. Their bodies are usually stout with naturally well-defined muscularity. Pink people have a masculine cardinal fire color energy which channels many of the qualities associated with the root chakra, the astrological sign Aries, and the adventurer archetype. They are mostly indigenous to Oceania, especially Polynesia and Micronesia. As we can see, these metaphysical attributes also strongly imbue pink physical color characteristics. Red people have skin colors which range from brown to tan with crimson or mahogany hues and undertones. Their eyes typically range from dark brown to brown, and their hair is black or dark brown and usually very straight or slightly wavy. Red people generally have oval, round, or heart-shaped faces with softer, more rounded facial features that range in size from medium to large. Their bodies are usually compact with somewhat less naturally pronounced muscularity. Red people have a feminine, fixed earth color energy which channels many of the qualities associated with the root chakra, the astrological sign Taurus, and the cultivator archetype. They are mostly indigenous to the Americas, especially Central America, the Amazon, and the Andes. As we can see, these metaphysical attributes also strongly imbue red physical color characteristics. Copper people have skin colors which range from brown to dark tan, with copper or cinnamon hues and undertones. Their eyes typically range from dark brown to brown, and their hair is black or dark brown and usually very curly or slightly coiled. Copper people generally have oval, round, or heart-shaped faces with sharper, more angular facial features that range in size from medium to large. Their bodies are usually wiry with naturally well-defined muscularity. Copper people have a masculine, mutable air color energy which channels many of the qualities associated with the sacral chakra, the astrological sign Gemini, and the performer archetype. They are mostly indigenous to North and East Africa, especially the Sahara, Eritrea, and Ethiopia. As we can see, these metaphysical attributes also strongly imbue copper physical color characteristics. Orange people have skin colors which range from brown to tan with tangerine or saffron hues and undertones. Their eyes typically range from dark brown to brown, and their hair is black or dark brown and usually very wavy or almost straight. Orange people generally have oval, round, or heart-shaped faces with softer, more rounded facial features that range in size from medium to large. Their bodies are usually compact with somewhat less naturally pronounced muscularity. Orange people have a feminine cardinal water color energy which channels many of the qualities associated with the sacral chakra, the astrological sign Cancer, and the healer archetype. They are mostly indigenous to South Asia, especially India and Sri Lanka. As we can see, these metaphysical attributes also strongly imbue orange physical color characteristics. Bronze people have skin colors which range from light brown to tan, with bronze or metallic hues and undertones. Their eyes typically range from dark brown to brown, and their hair is black or dark brown, and usually very curly or wavy. Bronze people generally have oval, round, or heart-shaped faces, with sharper, more angular facial features that range in size from medium to large. Their bodies are usually wiry with naturally well-defined muscularity. Bronze people have a masculine fixed fire color energy which channels many of the qualities associated with the solar plexus chakra, the astrological sign Leo, and the leader archetype. They are mostly indigenous to southwestern Asia, especially modern Arabia and southern Iran. As we can see, these metaphysical attributes also strongly imbue bronze physical color characteristics. Yellow people have skin colors which range from tan to beige with light or pastel yellow hues and undertones. Their eyes typically range from dark brown to brown, and their hair is black or dark brown and usually very straight or slightly wavy. Their eyes also have epicanthic folds. Yellow people generally have oval, round, or heart-shaped faces with softer, more rounded facial features that range in size from small to medium. Their bodies are usually compact with somewhat less naturally pronounced muscularity. Yellow people have a feminine, mutable earth color energy, which channels many of the qualities associated with the solar plexus chakra, the astrological sign Virgo, and the organizer archetype. They are mostly indigenous to Eastern Asia, especially China, Korea, and Japan. As we can see, these metaphysical attributes also strongly imbue yellow physical color characteristics. Gold people have skin colors which range from tan to beige with golden or honey hues and undertones. Their eyes typically range from brown to hazel, though sometimes also green or blue, and their hair is black, dark brown, or light brown and usually very wavy, slightly curly, or almost straight. Gold people generally have oval, oblong, or heart-shaped faces with sharper, more angular facial features that range in size from small to large. Their bodies are usually wiry with naturally well-defined muscularity. Gold people have a masculine cardinal air color energy which channels many of the qualities associated with the heart chakra, the astrological sign Libra, and the evaluator archetype. They are mostly indigenous to the Levant and North Africa, especially along the southern Mediterranean coastline. As we can see, these metaphysical attributes also strongly imbue gold physical color characteristics. Green people have skin colors which range from tan to beige with sage or olive hues and undertones. Their eyes typically range from brown to hazel, though sometimes also green or blue, and their hair is black, dark brown, or light brown, and usually very wavy, slightly curly, or almost straight. Green people generally have oval, square, or heart-shaped faces with softer, more rounded facial features that range in size from small to medium. Their bodies are usually stout with somewhat less naturally pronounced muscularity. Green people have a feminine, fixed water color energy which channels many of the qualities associated with the heart chakra, the astrological sign Scorpio, and the counselor archetype. They are mostly indigenous to southern Europe and Asia Minor, especially along the northern Mediterranean coastline. As we can see, these metaphysical attributes also strongly imbue green physical color characteristics. Cyan people have skin colors which range from pale to light beige with translucent blue undertones from their veins. Their eyes are most commonly blue or gray, though many have hazel, brown, or green eyes. Their hair is most commonly light or dark brown or fiery red, which is usually slightly wavy, curly, or almost straight. Cyan people generally have oval, diamond, or heart-shaped faces with sharper, more angular facial features that range in size from small to medium. Their bodies are usually wiry with naturally well-defined muscularity. Cyan people have a masculine, mutable fire color energy which channels many of the qualities associated with the throat chakra, the astrological sign Sagittarius, and the teacher archetype. They are mostly indigenous to Western Europe, especially the British Isles and along the Atlantic coastline. As we can see, these metaphysical attributes also strongly imbue cyan physical color characteristics. Blue people have skin colors which range from light beige to beige with slight blue undertones from their veins. Their eyes are most commonly blue or gray, though many have hazel, brown, or green eyes. Their hair is most commonly light or dark brown, which is usually straight or slightly wavy. Blue people generally have oblong, rectangular, or heart-shaped faces with softer, more rounded facial features that range in size from small to medium. Their bodies are usually stout with somewhat less naturally pronounced muscularity. Blue people have a feminine cardinal earth color energy which channels many of the qualities associated with the throat chakra, the astrological sign Capricorn, and the manager archetype. They are mostly indigenous to Eastern Europe, especially Russia, Belarus, and the Ukraine. As we can see, these metaphysical attributes also strongly imbue blue physical color characteristics. Indigo people have skin colors which range from dark brown to brown with slight red hues and undertones. Their eyes typically range from dark brown to brown, and their hair is black or dark brown and usually very curly or tightly coiled. Indigo people generally have oval, round, or heart-shaped faces with softer and more rounded facial features that range in size from medium to large. Their bodies are usually wiry with naturally well-defined muscularity. Indigo people have a masculine fixed air color energy which channels many of the qualities associated with the third eye chakra, the astrological sign Aquarius, and the innovator archetype. They are mostly indigenous to sub-Saharan Africa, especially West and Central Africa. As we can see, these metaphysical attributes also strongly imbue indigo physical color characteristics. And though I haven't been going over all the details of how the metaphysical attributes really do influence the physical vessels of people from each color tribe, here we can note a major example. Normally, masculine tribes do have sharper, more angular faces. However, because the indigo tribe is associated with the third eye and represents transformation, they in fact tend to have softer, more rounded facial features, while their sister tribe, the violet tribe, which also is associated with a third eye, is inverted in the opposite way. So rather than having softer, more rounded features, they have sharper, more angular features. And that's a way in which they just playfully mirror each other. Violet people have skin colors which range from light beige to beige with rose or pink hues and undertones. Their eyes are very commonly blue or gray, though some have hazel, brown, or green eyes. Their hair is most commonly blonde, sandy blonde, or light brown, which is usually straight or slightly wavy. Violet people generally have square, rectangular, or heart-shaped faces with sharper and more angular facial features that range in size from small to medium. Their bodies are usually stout with somewhat less naturally pronounced muscularity. Violet people have a feminine, mutable water color energy, which channels many of the qualities associated with the third eye chakra, the astrological sign Pisces, and the dreamer archetype. They are mostly indigenous to Northern Europe, especially Scandinavia and along the Baltic coastline. As we can see, these metaphysical attributes also strongly imbue violet physical color characteristics. So as I just mentioned in regards to the indigo tribe, the violet tribe, representing the third eye and transformation, is a little bit inverted. So rather than softer, more rounded features, we tend to see sharper, more angular facial features. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey of human color exploration and celebration of human diversity. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with others. I truly believe these ideas have the power to transform the way we think about diversity and indeed hopefully make the world a much better place for all of us to live in. Stay tuned for future videos talking about each color tribe individually, as well as the dynamics of color blending, because as we know, many people in the world are in fact color blended, and they have phenotypes and color energy from more than one color tribe. We're also going to talk about different ethnic groups, nationalities, and cultures in terms of color tribes as well. For now, I want you to know that you are wonderful, you are beautiful, and you are absolutely perfect just the way you are. I love you so very much, and God loves you very much as well. Many blessings. We will see you again soon.